Welcome to Searching for History. I'm Erin. This is Roland.
Hello.
And there's Thora. What are we seeing today?
Recently I found a town plat for a Cedarville townsite. I don't really know much about this town, even if the town was actually built. I just know that at least the town site was platted. So we're going to head out to the site and take a look and see what we can see and talk about what I've been able to find out about the town of Cedarville. We're calling this the ghost town of Cedarville, and it really is a ghost town. In fact, it's such a ghost town, we're not really sure if it existed or to what extent it existed.
Cedarville is located in Grays Harbor County, in the Chehalis River Valley in what was called Smith's Prairie. It's just a couple miles northwest of Oakville.
There's an 1890 map of Chehalis County, and it shows a Cedarville post office located somewhere around here. So we know Cedarville at least had a post office. Just a side note, prior to 1915, Grays Harbor County was called Chehalis County.
Another indication that there was a town somewhere around here is that there was an 1893 map of Chehalis County that indicates that there was a ferry crossing on the Chehalis River to the east of here.
This is looking in the direction of where the ferry crossing was. So I came across a 1912 Cedarville townsite plat. And on that plat, it shows multiple streets and town blocks that have been laid out in the field right here behind me. It even shows a railroad right-of-way that passes along the west side of the town. When you look out at the field behind us, it's so uneven that it's hard to imagine a town was actually built. So it's just trying to wonder, what's going on here? Was the town just platted but never built? Or was something built but now it's long gone? What's really interesting, when you look at an aerial photo, the current parcels you see here match the outline of the town site perfectly and even match the footprint of the railroad right-of-way. So this driveway right here is basically where the railroad grade ran that the town plat shows running along the side of the town. The parcels were definitely laid out, but the big question mark, was anything ever built here? So we know there was a post office, and we know there was a ferry crossing near here that would have led to Cedarville. And I've read a few anecdotes where people came here to acquire lumber to construct buildings elsewhere in Chehalis County. So there was probably a sawmill in Cedarville, but was there actually a town? We really don't know. A 1917 book titled Washington West of the Cascades has a few references about Cedarville. The Carr brothers, proceeding on their way, they stopped for a time at the ranch of Blockhouse Smith at Cedarville, and there proceeded to make a canoe. The cedar tree which they selected for the purpose split, so they secured a green cottonwood growing beside the river. They hewed this out, and wishing to hasten their work, they piled the canoe full of branches of vine maple, to which they set fire, but found that they had burned a hole in the cottonwood. A thin board, oakum and pitch repaired the damage, and packing their supplies in the canoe, they started down the river, and after 2 days reached Cosmopolis. In the winter of 1860, Mr. Carr taught the first school at Cosmopolis in a little building erected from lumber brought from Cedarville. A final reference. It was feared that the Indians, knowing that war was in progress among the whites of the North and the South, might go upon the war path so that a garrison was maintained at Chehalis Point and a blockhouse was erected at Cedarville. Apparently there was fear that local Indians would take advantage of the fact the Civil War was taking place back east.
My hunch is that there was a few buildings placed here, like the post office and a sawmill, that were kind of the beginnings of the infrastructure of a town. But the sort of main parts of the town were more like tent buildings. They weren't permanent buildings. And so what you see behind us is probably what the ground looked like. People just kind of built these temporary buildings or places to live.
Well, I know in the history of railroad crossing the United States, it was quite common for tent cities to spring up first.
Yes.
And then if the town lasted long enough, you would have an actual wooden town or something, built
right
on that site. So yeah, it's very well possible Cedarville never made it past the tent city stage.
That's what I think.
Cedarville was originally established when a blockhouse was built on the donation land claim of James L. Smith in 1855. An 1857 cadastral survey plat does show a structure marked here in Smith Prairie, and that very well may be the blockhouse. The house behind me is the approximate location of the James L. Smith blockhouse. Today there are some older buildings around here, like that white house just across the field there. That's probably dates to the 1920s, so it could be from the era of Cedarville. Behind me is the Cedarville townsite, and it's really difficult to imagine a town being back there. So I think Erin's theory of the town actually being a tent city is probably the case. But if anyone really knows if a town was ever built on this townsite, please let us know in the comments below. So what are your thoughts on Cedarville?
Well, I think like a lot of towns in the West, somebody thought that Cedarville would become a town, and it didn't. Yeah.
Apparently had a really quick boom and then went bust.
Yep. So much so that it didn't really have anything there.
Because you have Porter and Elma and Oakville around here, but there's no Cedarville Main Street to drive through.
Nope, and no old Grange or church or schoolhouse. There's nothing there.
If anyone knows if the town of Cedarville was actually built, let us know. We would love to find out more about it. Or if you know where we could learn more about Cedarville, point us in the right direction. That'd be great. That was our video on Cedarville. I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Searching for History.
Don't forget to like, share, comment on this video, and please subscribe to Searching for History. Thanks for watching.